like to unlock wisdom. I'd like to therapy unlock wisdom today.
Okay. I've been told
Can you
that
see me?
I've been told that I'm like wise beyond my years, but now my years are getting up there. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just wise now.
I think you are wise. I think you're incredibly wise. That's one of my favorite things about being on Therapy Unlocked, where we unlock the mind one conversation at a time, is working with this lady who is incredibly wise. She brings a lot of insight to the table. And I don't think that that is said often in this day and age.
Insight
right?
is something to be proud of, I think, because having insight can make a difference in how you proceed, I think.
Right. Insight, and perception, really not correcting perception, not altering perception, but just providing the key factor to turn just a perceived situation into understanding it.
I can shift perspectives for sure. My own perspective, I can see like multiple perspectives, and that's usually helpful. And the fact that I don't make assumptions for people, that can be really helpful too. I had somebody tell me once that somebody had moved out of their home, and I said, okay, was it a breakup or a change in the parameters of the relationship? And they were really appreciative that I worded it that way and didn't assume that they were breaking up. So what about wisdom mystifies you?
Well, I would like to, as I do, as the unqualified opinion on this show, extract your wisdom and monetize it, and distribute it to the public and all of that other stuff. And, for fun and Freudian benefit, I'll go ahead and share my wisdom too, which I wouldn't recommend doing by any means. Give me a nugget of wisdom right now.
It's not always as it seems to be.
Ooh, it's not always as it seems to be. I agree. It is not always as it seems to be, which I'll give you mine, which actually I do think is wise. I was bragging on myself a moment ago, which is both things can be true.
Two things can be true is a great bit of wisdom. I use that one at work. And I will even say two opposing things can be true. Like the sun can be shining and it can be pouring down rain. Those two things happen.
Literally in the same place. I've been in the same place before where rain has been falling and I have walked forward and sun has been shining in me, on me, deep. But wisdom though, being that, both things can be true.
And then if you want to get philosophical, does the sun really shine if nobody sees it up? That's like, does a tree fall in the forest if nobody's around to hear it?
I might be too literal for that one. Yes. And also yes. I don't know.
But that also goes with my bit of wisdom is it's not always as it seems. You might not see the sun, so you think the sun no longer exists. That object permanence isn't actually accurate, so it's not as it seems when the sun is down. It's not gone and away and gone forever. It'll be back in the morning. So it's not always as it seems fits.
You know what the best thing and the worst thing about wisdom and philosophy are, and what we probably should truly, truly unlock is it's not always as it seems, and you heard them the first time. You saw it the first time. It happened the first time. You remembered it accurately. Everybody who told you otherwise was fucking lying to you. Okay? You heard them the first time. Boom. Period. Full sentence, right? And sometimes it's not what it seems.
Right.
So
those are two things that can be true at the same time.
I think that maybe intelligence is understanding that, but wisdom could be knowing the difference and reacting differently.
Ah, yes. And so I do think with wisdom comes a change in our responses, because if we're reactors rather than actors, we're sometimes falling into a trap of our animalistic tendencies. I don't know, if you have an anger and your urge with anger is to attack, and then you go attack someone who doesn't need to be attacked, that could be problematic. But if you have the wisdom to say, wait, it's not about you, or it's not about me. That's a big one. It's not about me.
It's not about me. That's one of my favorite. I think that respond instead of reacting, state of being is absolutely a state of wisdom. I'm not sure that it is something that we can stay in for life. I think that everybody has their trigger points or their breaking points, but when you think of, wisdom being equated with age, is for a reason. A lot of the time it comes with life experience. So when you've reached that state of being able to respond instead of reacting, you have a certain amount of wisdom that tends to not happen when you're younger. But would you say that having wisdom is a state of permanence?
No. It's like the sun. It'll come and go. There are days when I am more wise than others.
There are absolutely days when I am more wise than others. And I am, so unequivocally serious when I say that I am more wise for others than myself.
Yes. It's so much easier to be focused on others rather than ourselves. I'll be honest there.
Yeah.
And so to put somebody else's life in perspective can be an easier thing than to see our own selves when we're in the picture, because it is really hard to see yourself when you're in the picture.
Oh, absolutely. And also to have the desire to step back and view yourself is, I don't know, I wouldn't even call that wisdom. I would call that vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a lot of people don't have that.
And that's a strength, I think, to be vulnerable, even if it's with your own self, by yourself, to yourself, to say, I love me. That is an act of vulnerability, and that is a strength, not a weakness.
Right. Ooh, okay. So we have wisdom here. We have it's not always as it seems, and you heard them right the first time. Sometimes it is what it seems. You need to be able to perceive the difference, and that's the goal. That's the wisdom to obtain there. And we also have some insight into the same kind of idea with vulnerability. You have to be willing to be vulnerable with yourself before you can be vulnerable, I think, with anybody else.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Really?
I think you can love others before you love yourself, but I think that not everybody's going to be wrong. So if everybody loves you and you don't love yourself, take a look at the mirror and ask yourself why. Because I am so awesome. All these people love me and they're not all liars. Just throwing that out there. Like, you can have self-love come after you love and help others. If you're not feeling great and then you go donate your time and that fulfills you and fills your cup, that might make you feel good and like yourself for having done something good or just bringing value by existing. Because I like to say that you don't have to do anything to have value as a human being, like production.
Just because you are a person. That's a game that I play with the kids now, and I think it's so much fun. We landed on it in a conversation one day, and now I just like to ask them sometimes. It makes me happy and restores my faith in humanity. I will say, hey, kiddos, what is something that you have a right to just because you are a person? You get it if you're in trouble. You get it if you are not in trouble. You get it just because you are a person. And
being wrong.
That's a lot of things.
You have the right to be wrong. You have the right to not know.
Say what?
Yes, you have the right to not know, and you have the right to be wrong. You also can just be uncertain, and that uncertainty may be uncomfortable, but it's also okay.
I like that. So you just dropped so much wisdom, I can't even handle it. You have a right to be wrong. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, but that is okay. That's just because you are a person. You can have that. We've talked before about just because you are a person does not mean you have to be available to everyone.
You are allowed to be unavailable even to those who birthed you.
You are allowed to be angry.
Yes, so it's okay to be angry. Yeah. It's not okay to punch walls. No. But it is okay to punch mattresses and punching bags. So sublimate or shift.
Have the wisdom to know what may or may not have consequence. Right. That's an important one. Foresight, forethought, think it through, play it out. Run the tape out before you do the action is a really good way, I think, to play that out.
I also ask myself, is this going to be a big deal? Is this going to be a big deal in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years? If the answer is no, it can go.
I've got one. If you find yourself doing or not doing something because, and this is only for adults. If there are children listening, I'm not talking to you, but if you're an adult and you think I better do this so I don't get in trouble.
You're not going to get in trouble. There's no morality police coming to get you.
I have fantastic news. Yes, so does she. Nobody's coming to get you. Nobody's coming to get you. You can't get in trouble. If you are in a relationship and you are thinking to yourself, I am going to get in trouble with my spouse.
Sounds like you have a controlling spouse.
We have problems. We have issues. Don't punish each other. There shouldn't be punishment. It's not transactional and it's not parental, and that's not what it should be based
Well,
on.
you bring up a good point. There are consequences to our actions. So yes, you're not going to get in trouble, but you might get fired.
See, and I love consequences. And I'm going to tell you, I love consequences because there is always a lesson to be found in a consequence. Now, I am not a huge fan of a catastrophe.
No, but a natural consequence. So like if a kiddo doesn't do their homework and then they don't do well on the test, that's a natural consequence. You didn't have to make them know the information.
But if I didn't allow my kiddo to do their homework for an entire year and then they flunked math class, that would be a catastrophe, an avoidable catastrophe. You know, if I showed up to work every day 5 minutes late and the boss was telling me regularly that it was a problem, and I was maybe even given a write-up, a consequence, or I was taken, the ability to choose my shift was taken away. Maybe that was a consequence. I am completely
so maybe you can help me out here. We had talked last time about ADHD folks and like time blindness.
Right.
How do you recommend folks with that diagnosis be on time?
Gaslight yourself. It is not the time you think it is. You're late.
Rewind the clock is what
you
you're
are
saying?
late.
So like if you have an appointment at 1 o'clock, you actually have an appointment at 11 o'clock. And if you
I do not ever put an appointment in my calendar at the time that it is, because I will not give myself room to screw it up. I will put it at least 20 minutes earlier. And if I'm lucky and I got there 20 minutes early, then I get a little dopamine treat of scrolling on my phone and I'm not late to my appointment.
I have a similar thing that I do, but rather than change the time of the appointment, I allot an hour for drive time, even if it's only a 15-minute drive. So then I have that whole hour to get myself there, and whether I leave it 15 after or 20 after or on the top of the hour, like it's just when I get there is when I get there. And then I'd rather be waiting than be late. That's just me.
Unfortunately, the way that I am unpredictably and, probably inaccurately wired is that when I have something to do, it's the only thing I'm going to do that day. So my time that I allotted for it was actually the full 24 hours. But that said, that's an ADHD thing as well.
It is when you have an appointment at 3 o'clock and you can't do anything else because you have an appointment at 3 o'clock.
Hey, ADHD girl, you're in wait mode. I'm so sorry. But that said, you said you allot time for drive time. Sometimes if it's a particularly difficult thing that I'm going to do, I will go ahead and give myself anxiety time.
Mm-hmm.
I need some time to sit in the car before I go inside.
I did that when I tested for my counseling exam. When I took the national exam for counseling, it's the National Counselor Examination, and that was back in like 2013. I did the Rosenthal study material, and he has a relaxation tape. Where back in the day, you had CDs that you put into a vehicle. So I put that CD in my car, and I sat there for the 30 minutes before my test, just doing the deep breathing and guided meditation, so that when I actually went in, I was stress-free, and all those questions, I knew them, and I knew them, and then I passed. But if I had that anxiety, I might not have done as well.
The way that I think I knew, and we'll circle back to wisdom on that, the way I think I knew that I was in the right career field, even though my body disagreed eventually, when it came to interpreting and taking my test like that, is that I was never nervous for a test in my life. And I think a lot of people, maybe with ADHD or the like, have that experience, except for my interpreter exam.
You know, a big life changing.
Because it was so important to me that it be my best and that I be doing my best and that I obtained this thing that I wanted so badly, that I worked so hard for. And
you bring up a good point.
It's very important.
If something's important, or if we have to do something, we're more likely to have stress about that and it be upsetting, internally distressing. That's just a little bit of unlocking the therapy.
Well, and unlock the therapy even deeper, because we just talked about it earlier today, so it's fresh in my mind. That's why I'm wearing the same outfit. I have an internal locus of control.
Yes, me too. High five.
Heck yeah. Is that locus as a motive sometimes off the rails, for dang sure? But that said, I have it. it's there. I like to think of the Barbie movie. I am capable of holding both emotion and reason and making an argument at the same time.
So you bring up something that I'd like to introduce that's related to dialectical behavioral therapy techniques, and that is we have like our emotion mind, our rational mind, and you bring those two together and take them both into consideration and make the wise mind decision about how to proceed.
I love that. I love that. It's like a decision-making flow chart for, reason and, authority and action. Speaking of authority, how do you reconcile? I know that at this current point in time, you're not in a position of maybe necessary authority, but as a parent, I am, and I know you have previously in the Navy, how do you think wisdom is best utilized in a position of authority?
Ooh, interesting. I would say in perspective shifting prior to implementing said consequence or disciplinary action, whatever that may be, take into consideration what might be going on in that person's life. So that shift in perspective prior to action, I think, is where the wisdom comes in.
So wisdom is in the therapeutic perspective, you think best to have already been obtained and be in possession, the person of authority already be having it. Correct?
Yes. And I'll give you an example. The Harvard Business School put out a thing that says, it's not my monkey. And they give this whole example about how the monkey comes on the back of the person who's coming to the manager. And then the manager is given the monkey and the manager has to give the monkey back to the employee before they send them on their way. Otherwise, you're just going to have all these employees giving you monkeys and you got monkeys jumping all over you.
I'm covered in monkeys,
but it's not your monkey.
It's not my monkey.
If you have
I
that
love
wisdom,
that. I just think that's really funny.
If you have that wisdom that it's not my monkey, then you can
return the monkey.
Yes,
you could return the monkey. That's really good advice. Return the monkey.
Thanks, Harvard.
Thank you so much, Harvard. You're making me smarter, and I'm never going to give you any money for it. You feel wiser
today, or like in general?
Yeah, in your life. Do you feel wiser? Do you think you're getting wiser?
With each decade, yes. And I think part of getting wiser, Carrie, is giving a little less shits.
Am I getting wiser?
Yes.
That's all I need to hear. No one else's opinion matters because I decide. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on Therapy Unlocked. If you have a nugget of wisdom, please tell me because I want to be the authority. All right, guys, thank you so much. Remember, professional, not your professional. Feel free to do what I say.